Me and God, we got this thing going on. It's an awesome relationship. If you don't have a relationship with God, you sure need it. I'm not talking about Baptist, Presbyterian, blah, 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 blah. I'm talking about one on one. Me, him, or him and me. Conversations. Just the things he does for me. And I know people say, oh, I don't believe you, whatever. I don't care whether you believe me or not. See, I'm getting ready to tell you a true story. One of the things he done for me. He has done many things. Some things will be held for another time because some things I just really don't want to speak of because too many people are involved. But this instance right here, it is one of the most powerful lessons that I have learned from God. You see, I smoked for what, 30, 35 years? Longer, 40, probably around 40 years. And I think I've stopped being quit. I don't really keep up with dates, but it's been probably around 10 years. Sometime between November the 1st and November the 8th, about 10 years ago. And I could not have done it without God. And that's what taught me you can't do anything without God. You know, He's there. Um, I've always believed in God, but I've always had a connection, but not like I do now. I mean, now it's like, wow, you can't do anything without Him. Nothing. So I decided I said my prayers one night. Like I said, I believed in Him, but it was a half-hearted thing. I've always still wanted to do what I wanted to do. But anyway, I was saying my prayers, because I always said my prayers. And I said, and would you please help me quit smoking? I wasn't really serious. I don't think. It's more like half-hearted, because I was not thinking about my health, but how much money I would save. And another thing was, every time I try to quit smoking, I would end up smoking that much more. And I was already up to about 2.5 packs, and they were getting expensive. Good thing I quit when I did, because now they're just totally outrageous. But I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I went to sleep. About 1 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to pain. And I mean excruciating pain. My whole body felt like one big toothache. And you know what a toothache feels like, I'm pretty sure. But it was my whole body. And I could say my fingers and my toes and all, but it was that but added effect. Something that I never, ever, ever went through before. And I did not know you could do this. Or it could be done. But my fingernails, the tips of my fingers, the tips of my fingernails, the tips of my toenails, the roots of my hair. It wasn't just my hair, it was the roots. Down deep. Something was just digging in me. And I hurt. And I mean, I generally hurt bad. I went to take a shower in case I had to go to the emergency room. I was living with my daughter at the time. That's another story, but I could afford to live on my own, and I did for a long time, but she was pregnant, so I moved in with her to help her. And anyway, like I said, that's another story. But I didn't want to wake her up and have to do that. So I was like, I'm going to tough it out as long as I can. I didn't know what it could be because I'd never felt that before. I had had chest pains I'd had toothaches, I'd had headaches, blah, 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 but never the tips of my toenails and fingernails, the roots of my hair, never. I could not stand up. I could not lay down. I could not sit down. So I was like just sprawled out, like half between sitting and raising up and sideways. And I mean, I kept moving to get comfortable and I could not do it. And finally, after a couple of hours of that, I heard, God, please help me. Please make this pain go away. Please. And there for a while, there was silence, but the pain continued. I'm like, God, please, please. And finally, this voice said, you got to promise me you're going to quit smoking. I'm like, what? See, he turned my words on me, buddy. He's like, okay, we're going to do this. He didn't take into account that I was not really serious. He was. He was serious. So I'm like, oh my gosh, promise? You know, I don't even promise people out in the world, because when you promise them something, if you can't deliver, then that's on you. So you don't make promises you can't keep. I'm like, if I promise God, I'm going to have to do it one way or another. And I'm like, it is just way too hard to quit smoking. So I'm like, if I was to promise him, there's no telling what he would do to me. It would be a lot worse than what I was going through now, the pain. So I'm like, suffered with it a little longer. And finally, I just could not take it anymore. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. I've got to do it. I can't keep living this pain. And I said, okay, God, I promise. I said, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I said, but I'm going to do it. I will. I promise. And the pain automatically stopped. It just totally stopped. Like nothing had ever happened. So, next thing was, okay, throw your cigarettes away. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So, I did throw half a pack away, and I had a full pack. I said, oh, Lord, please. I said, they cost me a lot of money. I said, I don't want them, and I won't smoke them, but let me give them to somebody. And I'm like, you can deal with them later. He's like, okay, you know. And, well, he didn't say, but he let me keep them, so I figured that's what he was thinking. He'd deal with that person later. And so, oh, he did too. Believe me, he did. But anyway, I washed the ashtrays and put them up. And this is like 4 o'clock in the morning. To wash the ashtrays, put them up, put the cigarette lighter on the shelf, because we had a wood stove, so it made sense to keep the lighter. And I went to bed. My thought as I hit that pillow was, oh no, in about an hour and a half, I have to get up and get ready for work. How am I going to, I'm not going to make it. I won't make it to work today. I just can't. But I went to sleep. My clock went off. I jumped right up out of bed. I felt so good. I felt wide awake. I was ready for the day. So I got up and got ready for work. And I never did smoke until I got in the car. I always had to have one to drive or to ride. I always had to have one in the car. So I got to the car and I had that whole pack of cigarettes with me. Never even thought about opening and getting me one. I didn't even want one. So I got in the car, headed to work. I think my daughter drove me that day. I think she was going to use my car. It seems to me like she was. And I told her what went on, and she said, well, Mom, I would have took you to the emergency room. I said, honey, I said, I don't think the emergency room could have done it. So I figured what was happening, since I didn't want one and didn't need one. I think all that pain, like the tips of my toenails, tips of my fingernails, roots of my hair, I think he was pulling all that junk out of me. the tar, the nicotine, all that bad stuff. I think he was pulling it out. And so they say when he does something, he will make way so you won't be tempted. And that's why I think he took everything out that made me addicted to them. I didn't want one. Because when I got to work, I walked right through the smoking area. I mean, right through it, just smoke everywhere. Didn't even want one. I walked up the steps, went in the building, walked all the way across the building to the other smoking area because I knew that's where he would be. So I handed him that pack of cigarettes. I said, "Here, you can have these." I quit and walked off. And so I thought, okay, my test is going to be at lunch because at lunch I always smoked my lunch. I never took lunch, never ate lunch. I smoked it. So I went in the break room instead of outside. And I bought my lunch and ate lunch. Never wanted a cigarette, never thought about it. And this is now I'm here about 10, maybe 10, 11 years later. And I still do not want one. So when God stops something or he wants you to stop something, he does make a way. Like I said, that was so painful, but I have never, ever wanted a cigarette again. I have found cigarettes that I had stashed, and I threw them away. I didn't want them. I don't need them. I don't want them now. Of course, I gained weight. That's my next subject, work on the weight gain. I don't know what you're going to do to me about that when I ask for that. So I've kind of been putting that one off. But seriously, God will help you. All you have to do is ask. Do what he says. And if you make a promise to him, he will help you keep it. You're not alone. He's there with you. I hope y'all have a great day, and I do hope you get something out of this. And he is there to help. He will help you with anything. All you have to do is ask. What they say, ask and you shall receive. Yeah. There's going to be some pain. There'll always be pain. There'll be consequences. But he's there. And I love y'all. Thank you. And I think my dog says it's time to get off of here and give him some attention. Like he don't get enough already. That's all he does get. Thorn, go on. But I thank you. And y'all have an awesome day. I love y'all. And talk to God. Got any problems, addictions, anything. You're sad, you're lonely. He's always there. Just talk to him. That's all you got to do. Just talk to him. Love you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.